Hey guys, it's Wade over here at 7 p.m. prayer. Listen, I was hoping to be outside doing a little time out in the garden today, but it's rainy, and so here we are in the front room. I wanted to talk to you about habits today. If we're going to get this 7 p.m. prayer going, and we're going to get Christians all over the world praying about issues of the day, and again, these can be big issues that are worldwide, and they can just be you praying for your mom or your dad, your kid or your friend. So that's the beauty of prayer, is that you can't open that Bible and find one single book of the Bible that isn't at some point in time telling you to pray. So this is a huge, huge thing for us to do. Now, we're also told that if we're living in compromise, if we're living in sin, that God doesn't hear our prayers. So the bottom line is that if we want to make an impact for others, for ourselves, if we want to make a difference in this world, we need to handle ourselves in a way that our Father can do business with us, so to speak. You might think, well, that sounds, why would he make it that way? Well, again, think about it in your own life. If you've got a kid and your kid was stealing stuff from you, doing something knowingly very against the way you would have things done, and then turning right around and asking you to do different things for them, you knowing this full well, and them knowing you know, it becomes really difficult to dole out the favors. So we want to be the people that God needs us to be in order to make our prayers move mountains. So I'm going to go through a few things with you. The main thing of which, and this will give me a little bit longer of a video, is I want you to focus on your habits. If you've got a habit of compromising on certain things, having certain issues in life that you're willing to do less than your best, and you know it, you got to change that. And the awesome thing about that is that once you change one of those things, then all of a sudden there's a power there, there's an energy there that will help you change the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So in my mind, years ago, I was like a teenager when this kind of got started, but it kind of appeared to me as wheels turning. And you know how once a certain amount of, it may have almost been like, remember back when they used to talk about a rolling snowball, and it gets all this momentum and it's going down the mountain and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and gets all this, momentum going. When you can get a wheel turning with a lot of momentum on something that you've made a good habit of, then all of a sudden that turning, that momentum, that power can help another wheel turn, another area that you need to work on. It may be, for example, let me just use kind of a time in my life where I was working through some of this. So I remember there was a particular time in high school, early college time period, where I started exercising. And let me switch this. Basically what I found was that I was able to accomplish a lot in the gym, not because I had some really great day where I went there for 6 hours and just blew it out, but it was because I was being consistent. I was doing it regularly. I was doing it over and over and over. And those efforts consistently, all of a sudden, turned me into a whole different person. So I remember having the thought, all right, so that worked with that. What could I turn it to next? Well, given I was already exercising and putting all this effort in, I decided, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I want to revolutionize my eating habits as well. So I had been raised with good eating habits, but I had kind of, here we are, late high school, college, and it kind of started to develop some lesser habits. But putting all this energy into exercise all of a sudden made me want to put energy into, making my diet support the efforts I was putting into my exercise. So all of a sudden now I had kind of two areas of my life that not too long ago were just okay, and now they were excellent. And so all of a sudden I started looking at other areas of life. From studies, I went from a pretty good student, and again, it doesn't mean you have to be coming out of the gutters. I was a pretty good student to getting a 4.0 and all of a sudden being president of 3 organizations on campus. But the idea was, as I was getting more and more and more wheels turning in my life to where the momentum for me to move forward in excellence was so strong that if something in my life was compromised or not as good as it ought to be, it really stuck out, and I wanted to change it now. And so it really, even some of the things, when you're that age in particular, it's so easy to be selfish. It's so easy just to think about what you want and what life means to you. Parenting certainly should and usually does help with that, but I wasn't there yet. And so what it really allowed me to do in getting all of these wheels turning, all this energy going, all this positive going, was I now all of a sudden was applying that same thing that was working in the weight room towards being kind to others and helping others. And so my point in all of this is that as we're looking at working together to pray as a group, to pray for things going on in the world, and I recognize that we're not going to be in the same room together. I mean, maybe I'm going to figure that out someday as far as some kind of a online way to do that. But right now I see it, I'm a real big believer that you don't complicate things. And right now when I envision a person praying at 7 p.m., I think a lot of you will probably just be praying by yourself at your house. Or you might have a spouse, you pray with them. Kids, pray with them. Maybe every once in a while it's going to amount to a group getting together at their church or whatever. That's great. That's awesome. But a lot of times it's just going to be you looking up and seeing that clock and saying, okay, there are Christians right now praying about the important things going on, and I want to be a part of that, and I want to put my power with God to work with theirs and help us all get out there and affect change in the world. So I'm still actually working on the specifics of that. I just decided I'm not going to wait till I have everything figured out or God's dropped every single thing in my mind that I need to know. I'm going to start getting the message out and just start making these videos and practicing. I mean, it's kind of funny. I had 0 social media going on before this. Now I post to like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X every day. So that's crazy. And what's funny is the only thing I have open for myself is an old Facebook account that got opened years ago. And I started getting all these like, your friend acceptance this, your friend acceptance that. And I was like, I haven't asked anybody. So I've shut that thing down, several months ago just because I didn't know what was going on with it. So this is stepping way out of my comfort zone, doing all this social media, but that tends to be the way God works, is he rarely just grabs you in your most comfortable spot and has you run with it. So if it weren't for my 16-year-old nephew, Cohen, I wouldn't even be able to do this. And it's even funny because I bought these cameras and tripods and all this stuff. And I just realized, you know what? It's so much easier just to grab my phone and shoot. And I even like not doing editing and stuff. I just figure, here it is, here we go. Now, I think he's going to get in and start doing some editing at some point, and he's even got like the cameras out last week, and we did a real professional shoot. That'll hit at some point. And if he has his way, there'll be a whole lot more of those. But for me, right now, in trying to be the person I need to be for you, and this going forward, because I know right now hardly anybody sees these, and that's okay. I just need to practice. I need to get it out there. I have zero goals as to how big or small this is going to be. God told me to do it. I'm doing it. And I figure if I'm just helping one person out there, in this case, work on some habits that will help them be more effective with prayer, it's all worth it. So that's been a growing experience for me, because usually with business, you've got these goals and I want to hit this. And then when you hit that, you got to grow 10% better than that and grow and grow and grow. And it's never enough, right? God doesn't work that way. It's always enough with him. He just one of us he's willing to work for. So anyway, I just wanted to really encourage you that as we're building this group of Christians praying together, if you've got aspects of your life that aren't where they need to be, don't accept that. Don't call that good. Don't think that that's just kind of, we're all sinners. Well, that's the way it goes. No. We're supposed to be perfect as our Father in heaven is perfect. That's what Jesus told us to do. So we're working at it. We're never going to be perfect like Jesus was, but we constantly work at being better and remolding ourselves into the person that God made us to be. So 7 p.m., Christians praying together. I don't care whether you're Baptist, Catholic, Presbyterian, non-denominational. Doesn't matter. We all believe in Christ. We're all Christians. Let's pray together and make a difference. I appreciate you guys.